we're gathered here today to commiserate the death of the Tron franchise.
For the record,
It was inevitable.
I like Tron Legacy, and I had a suspicion of every horrible thing they were going to do, and you've all confirmed it for me that, yeah, I'm never going to get the follow-up to ISOs or Korra or Sam Flynn.
Nope.
Oh, you got no idea, bro.
Yeah. Wait until we get into
They went all in.
Maybe you guys can help me out on this one. What was the point of this movie? 'Cause I'm genuinely perplexed by this one.
Corporate said, we need to keep this franchise going. So who wants it? And then some poor fucker they dragged in off the streets, like put a pen on a piece of paper, and he was probably high. He may have had half a brain, and he turned the script around and they said, I don't get it. That'll do. Off we go.
That's what it feels like. It really does. I just feel like nothing was really accomplished in this movie. I didn't really, it didn't really have an idea or a theme that it was trying to push. I guess it was just a concept movie of, wouldn't it be cool if the machines from the Tron world could come into our world? Because that's like literally the only thing they haven't done yet.
Yeah.
Which for that premise, they didn't exactly do much of any interesting things with it. For a moment, you get like, what a car chase, but with the Tron cycles, light cycles, and you're like, okay, you don't really do a lot with it. And there's loads of questions as to the ethics for the two characters fucking everything up. And then, of course, the corporation behind it being obviously that it's their stuff. And then, yeah, I was watching it and just being like, you guys are going to get in all kinds of trouble, right? And then all the characters like, you're going to get in all kinds of trouble, right? And the main tech bro being like, nah, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. And then he gets in huge trouble and runs away. I was like, right. Which, by the way, I don't consider this a spoiler, but I was fucking shocked they referenced Sark at the end.
Oh,
Where did that even come from?
I was just like, wow, why would that even... That's such a, like, glup shitto thing. Like, why would that be important that he's Sark? It's... What?
It's a precursor to the next movie.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's going to be the villain of the second movie. It's like, okay.
Let the slop bandwagon commence. I mean, they obviously think this is going to be some epic beginning to a cinematic universe of Tron. Help me out as well. So the premise behind this is it's kind of widely known now for some reason that you can just use these bullshit magical laser things to just manifest things from the machine world, whether it be trees or
I have one here.
Machinery, or machinery, or in this case, like actual physical beings with sentient, cognitive abilities, but they have a lifespan of 29 minutes. And if they go beyond that, then they just de-res and evaporate.
Is there a reason?
There's no reason.
No, because it didn't. At the end of Tron Legacy, Sam shuts down the grid. The only one of those digitizers is in his dad's office below the arcade. And he leaves with Korra, who's the ISO, the last of her kind, who has that triple helix DNA, is going to change everything we know.
We're not doing
whole
that.
thing was he was gonna come through the portal with the master disc, and there was no half-life for them.
They steal that payoff for themselves at the end of their movie. Everything changes. They have amazing technology and revolutions from what they do.
They try and play that very, very safe, because they, on the one hand, there's a news report which says, oh yeah, we're using this new technology to do a couple of kind of interesting things, but also the world isn't really ready for all of the really interesting new things we can do, so we'll save that for another movie, much like Tron Legacy did, very much leaving the door open to retcon itself out of existence, which this one functionally serves as a retcon. You can't really make sense of these movies in continuity.
I do like this statement here. 90s Lara Croft, 29 minutes is more than enough with her.
If we
That's what the Star Wars sequels did, though. They just reset everything and made them do it again. Oh, fuck.
If we could just be clear for the good old audience as well as just anybody who's trying to catch up, this film opens. I'm not even kidding. You smash you into this. They're like, Sam Flynn, you know him. Yeah. Character from Legacy, who ends it with an enormous open door as to what's going to happen next. Resigned. Personal reasons.
Just
two lesbians have taken his place at EdCobb.
They're not lesbians, they're sisters.
Oh, whatever.
Are you going to flash
I could tell you were paying attention.
Well, it doesn't matter because one of them dies of cancer anyway.
Both things can be true,
What I thought was funny was they make a big deal about the relationship those two have, but you just get told about it, and then one of them's dead, and then at the end there's a photo of them. I was like, okay.
Does it say how long? Like how long he's been.
Spoiler alert, or do you give a damn?
Do you think the
Does
chat
anyone
No.
cares? Yeah.
I'm being pleasant.
That's fair.
they-
Though I would just say that there's not much to spoil. Really, it's a very confusing, weird
There's
mess.
not much of a movie here.
Can someone tell me whether this was happening in our time or in the future?
I mean,
huge-ish. I mean, it's set off the Tron Legacy, kind
That's a
of.
good question.
But it doesn't say how long after. I mean, yeah. I mean, so someone has to have taken over the company and died in a span of time since Tron Legacy. I mean, it could still be current day.
We went from Sam saying, I'm taking back the company, Alan, and I need you there at whatever o'clock, to just, he resigned.
Yep, and disappeared. And no one really spent very much time looking for him.
Did he go to an island?
We've got these new interesting people, really interesting people who've taken over from him, one of whom dies. And then it's like the death of the sister is sort of presented sometimes as the motive, because the basic idea is Eve, whatever the fuck her name is, I can't remember because she's not a character. She wants there's a race to find this thing called like the permanence code, is it?
Yeah.
I think it's called the permanence
so remember
code.
that problem that we set up earlier where they can only create objects that will exist for 29 minutes.
So like Blade Runner, but
allows them to exist
30 minutes
forever. How they actually manifest in the physical world and how they eat and drink and
see
like crap. I don't know how that works.
There you go. There's
How did
aren't they just holograms? How are they physically presentable?
Well, presumably it rewrites atoms.
Did the 29 minutes apply to objects and people? Because they had a gun, right?
They create like a tree or something like to test it. So presumably that would just evaporate as well.
Do you remember when they take Athena's gun because she left it behind, but she disintegrated? And I was like, wait, shouldn't that disintegrate as well?
No, that wasn't hers. That was created in the real world and given to her.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah,
I think maybe you zoned out a few times in this movie,
it's
which I don't
almost
blame you for.
impossible not to do.
Yeah, that I was just wondering what the rules were exactly, because you could make it such that object, like Terminator or something, where it's like there's different rules depending on when you create synthetic different things. I was just curious.
Well, I mean,
it begs all kinds of questions, like because they create an orange tree to test it, and like, what if you ate one of the oranges and then it like evaporated inside you?
Yeah.
Like,
so my headcanon is just like Star Trek with the replicator and transportation technology, a fancy thing that will rewrite atoms and material however you want to make it do that. But
Sort of. I mean, sometimes it sort of presents almost as hard light. I mean, hard light is a thing you can see it in other science fiction concepts where you can sort of reconstruct light into solid matter and build objects out of it. And because of the way that they sort of crumble at the end, it looks kind of like what I would imagine that to be, but they never explain it. It's just a thing they can do, obviously.
Oh, it's a full headcanon. Yeah, they've never explained the mechanics.
Well, yeah, because what they do is like, say they create a person out of nothing. They're inside this like cocoon thing, and then they just break out of it, and like bits of stuff go everywhere, and then
like a
that's
3D printer?
fully formed
3D printed referencey,
yeah.
And like there's so much that this movie could have done. Like imagine these creatures experiencing like just the real world for the first time, like feeling sunlight on their skin or whatever. Like it's
like
it's
the
just,
end of Tron Legacy, which is
there's one tiny scene where literally it hinges on the villain being dumb as fuck because she's about to kill a plank of wood Eve. And then the sprinkler system goes off in the building that she's in, and she feels like rain droplets landing on her hand for the first time. And then she's like, "Oh, isn't this beautiful?"
And they kind of set it up with Ares, because Ares goes out on a mission into the rain, like because the evil businessman, who is the evil businessman from the moment he's introduced, because he's the white evil businessman who runs the evil person company. So there's no like mystique around who these people are and what they are at all. So he creates a bunch of stuff as a tech demo for his investors. He doesn't tell them about the 29-minute limit. So they are very, very impressed by his ability to manufacture weapons and bring them from the digital realm into the real one. Ares goes outside and it's kind of raining, and he sort of observes the effect of the rain on him or something, and then reports back to his fellow programs what it feels like. That is pretty much the only thing they do about exploring the feelings of these programs being brought into the real world. It is kind of a replay from the Legacy B, but it's not anything like it's not a payoff to anything really.
Is Mother Anastasia the main antagonist?
Yes, she is.
Oh my god, I didn't realize.
It's good to know that she still cannot fucking act to save her life.
It's about power. It's about power. She's very strong. I think she can
the world of Tron is very patriarchal.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah,
Why
that's
did,
basically.
Can't
By the way,
escape
yeah,
it.
just for the audience who are watching this and who haven't seen the movie, there's essentially two rival corporations vying for control of the permanence code. One is led by a straight white male who usurped power from the company from his much more competent mother. The other company is led by a Asian woman who's possibly a lesbian, according to Mahler. Who knows? Guess which one turns out to be the good guy, and guess which one turns out to be the bad guy. I'll leave it with you guys.
Man,
And
I am
figure it
fucking
out.
bored of the childish tech bro idiot moron running around.
Yeah,
thinking
It's so boring.
It's in
he
everything.
is a carbon copy of the dude from Alien Earth, isn't he?
Wasn't he played by Cillian Murphy in Legacy? It was like an uncredited, but like the son of Dillinger.
Was that who? Is that the same character? Is that who that's
Julian? I assume that is the same as that's his younger brother, but like I thought they just actor changed him, but that is supposed to be Dillinger's son.
Check. I didn't know that. I was almost jump scared by Cillian Murphy when I rewatched Legacy. I was like, oh my god, I didn't know you were in this.
Yeah, that's supposed to be Dillinger's
Cillian,
kid. So
no.
Isn't this Dillinger's grandson? Because his mother is Dillinger's daughter. So this is Dillinger's grandson, I think. I think they may have just forgotten about Cillian Murphy because God knows everybody else did. So like he's just that. Yeah, he is basically Boy Cavalier from Alien Earth, and Boy Cavalier is just another version of the same character archetype we see over and over again. He is impossibly stupid, incredibly vain, very greedy, and he gets defeated by his own ridiculousness.
Severe ADHD as well, and he's just flipping out all the time. And you once again compare in an IP, because they've done this a million times. It's like, what was he like in Tron, the big company man? Obviously, you get David Warner playing like the CEO guy, but also Sark, but also he's the voice of the Master Controller. And they're all supposed to be assertive, confident with flaws, but like you understand motivations, that sort of thing. It's like, no, instead we got the fucking spaz going, blah, 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 I want to do this. Blah, 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 blah. It's like, yeah.
Well, like the moment where what the fucking Jodie Turner-Smith takes off with her jetpack Iron Man suit on to go kill everyone, and he's like whooping and hollering like a fucking redneck at a cook-off. You're like, yeah, go, woo! And then like, Gillian Anderson, his mom, just comes in and slaps him because he's essentially gambling the entire future of their company on this completely sketchy mission with almost no chance of success.
He just didn't call for medical help for like an hour.
Ares' turn, I didn't understand. I don't know what motivated it.
Oh, didn't you see the bit?
Well, he explains it because literally
important.
every character explains everything that they do in this movie.
He goes into the data stream and he sees her face, and it says on the screen "empathy response," and now he's good.
I get it, but
that's character journey.
I mean, so here's a question: as a person who wanted to be a physicist, I would have added this, but I don't think the audience would have necessarily appreciated it. So I'm just throwing this out. So we know why I can't put my finger through this. It's because of atomic, it's actually, atoms, the electrons repel. And this is really not a physical object, technically. This is technically completely hollow.
You vibrate at different frequency.
Through, right? It can be passed through, sort of like in Buckaroo Banzai.
Like ghosts. Ghosts can go through it.
Yeah, so ghosts can go through it. So that's why we can sit on a chair, not because it's necessarily physical. It's just that it's got enough atomic structure that your ass atoms won't pass through the seat atoms.
We've got distinct ass atoms.
Ass atoms.
That's a thing.
So you could explain the corporeal nature of Ares and these objects in the real world that way, that they are real, but they have a limited lifespan. But if they are created atomically, they could have they could have atomic repulsion, which is what creates the illusion of a physical object. If someone explained that obviously better than I just did, would that be of interest to you? Or
I mean, it could be made interesting, but this movie hasn't even got around to explaining a story yet. So, like,
I'm just asking.
It's 100% a valid question. I think I am genuinely baffled as to how Ares even functions in the real world.
That's
because
my point.
When you see him at the end, he's living amongst humans.
Yeah.
Like I
he's
don't
in a
even
cabana.
know. Yeah, and it's like I don't even know what he's made of. Does he have to eat? Does he have to sleep like a regular human? Like if he gets injured? Will he bleed?
He has.
I don't
doesn't
know.
have an ID.
He does bleed.
I don't even know what he's made of.
Insurance number.
No.
Well, he kind of asked some of these questions himself, and then he's like, "Well, next time."
That's for
there's
more
always been
talented writers to figure out.
a large degree of playing fast, and there's always been fantasy elements in Tron, and so like it wouldn't rank in my top 10 list of the reasons this movie is shit. Though I would agree it would be interesting to see an explanation like that. But if you think, why is there water in the grid? Well, water is described as just being an energy liquid. The sea of simulation is just liquid energy, and it's like, okay, you have to take some liberties, because in the original movie that they are creating a kind of digitized fantasy world. It's not a physical world. It's not strict science fiction, but it's an imaginative leap to look at the pixels on the screen of Pong, which I think was the original like inspiration of Tron, and say, what would it be like to actually be inside the computer as these bits and these bytes sort of dance around each other. And that's kind of the romance of that film, and the technological progress they had to make to create those scenes, like really pioneering digital effects. Disney animators hated it because they thought it was going to put traditional animators out of work, and the people who created Pixar loved it because they thought, shit, it's a whole new art form that we can now experiment with. And I think the Pixar team actually gave writing input on Legacy, which is why there is a bit of character work that happens in that movie. With this one, it's junked a lot of the fantasy aspects, and it doesn't give you scientific explanations like the one you just described. But it's also junked all of the character stuff, and it's also junked all of the story stuff, and it has no interest in the fantasy world anymore, which is why it immediately wants to bring all the people from that world, which is more interesting, into a very boring version of our real one.
Yes.
So not only will you not get the great explanations as to how things work, but you also have no interest in why they should work, because it's boring.
That's also, that's the problem. Like, when you see this stuff manifest in our world, one, it looks goofy as fuck, and like I've got so many questions about how this stuff functions, but I'll leave that for now. But it is visually boring just to see, like, oh, it's a light cycle going down a street in like fucking generic city somewhere in America,
Vancouver. Or
what's the appeal of Tron then? Tron is, as Platoon said, it's like a person being transported in a fantasy world. That's radically different from ours, visually very interesting. It's a digital fantasy world, but it's the same principle. It's something that's very different from where we exist. And it's got a great, unique visual style. I love that. And I think I like that much cleaner, more simplified version of the world of Tron that you got in the first movie, because it makes sense when it's essentially just a visual representation of data and programs interacting with each other. It would look like that. It wouldn't have water. It wouldn't have like all these complex pieces of architecture, or basically just look like our world, but with a bunch of neon strip lights stuck to it. That's kind of what it looks like in this film. And I think just Tron Legacy kind of suffered from that as well. It was a halfway house, but it had some of the same issues visually. I don't get the point then. I don't get the appeal of this film when it's basically just our world now.
Is Ares just a normal program?
Ares is he's a program. He is called Master Control, so he is written by Dillinger's grandson to be the new Master Control, who is also called Ares. But the Master Control program obviously was in control of the grid in the first movie, which is why it's called Master Control. It was a program written to be in control. Ares is not written to be in control of anything. He doesn't fulfill the same function.
Master Control is just like a title that he seems to bestow upon people.
It's so
because then it gives
weird.
it to Jodie Turner-Smith. It's like, it's just whoever happens to be his favorite is now Master Control. What does that mean?
We watched the hilarious authority fumble happen. Basically, big evil boss man says, "Go kill the hero girl that we're supposed to like," and then Ares is like, "Sure, I'll do that." Walks out of the room, goes, "I'm not going to do it. Our guy, our boss, he's unavailable. He's not giving commands. You'll just do what I say, right?" And then fucking Athena's like, "I'm gonna go talk to the boss." He's like, "Wait, what?" He just was like, "I made a miscalculation." I thought it was so funny.
A lot of the explanation, sorry, Paul, real quick. A lot of the explanation for why the city looks like it does in Legacy is because Clue took over and had a coup against Flynn and designed all that shit on his own, and so without any of the soul from. So there's at least a reason in that one. This one,
and there's the external reasons as well, because Kaczynski, who directed that movie, actually hired teams of real-world architects to build that movie. Like he built everything to make it look. That's why when Drinker said it's a halfway house, I mean, it's true on basically every level with Legacy. It is a halfway house to the more like the realism that this current movie is interested in most. I say that advisedly. I like Legacy's look. I just don't necessarily like it as a Tron look. It sort of speaks that lack of interest in where the thing comes from and what it's supposed to represent. And yeah, there's an internal reason. The external reason is that the creator was asked by Disney to do a kind of Matrix-esque, post-Matrix at least, Tron movie. He said he didn't want to do that. He had his own ideas, but one of those ideas was creating this very real, developed version of a digital world that we saw in Tron. Whilst at the same time having it cut off from the internet because he didn't want it to be a story about the internet. But then, of course, where does all the graphical enhancement come from, and where's the development come from if the grid has been trapped behind Flynn's fucking arcade machines for years? It's like, it doesn't make a huge degree of sense, but it's still very distinctive, whereas this one doesn't make any sense and it's not distinctive. It's just shit.
And the thing is as well, I got no sense of like for lack of a better word, the culture or the society or the makeup of the world of Tron within this movie. It's just there visually. Mm-hmm. We get to see almost no one who's part of it, apart from just the handful of like basically assassins who are just like Ares. There's no sense of like what the I don't know, almost like the political situation is there. Is there a struggle for control? Are there different factions within it? There's nothing. Like, so again, like what are we to take from this movie? It feels so small compared to the others.
It's worse than that Luc Besson movie. This reminds me of Luc Besson in many ways. The one with the twins. This is like a worse version of it.
Oh God, were there secret agents? Yeah.
Was the twins the French movie? It was the French sci-fi movie with the model and her brother.
Yeah.
But my biggest concern, my biggest problem is that Tron 1 was a video game movie. You basically got sucked into the video game, and then you got to see all these components of the inside of video game that you would never see as a player. There's all this glue that's in there and these factions and shit happening. And that's what was fun. So in this particular case, if the premise was, oh, we're going to now bring the Tron video game into the real world, then they should be fighting it as if it's a video game. Then people should be dealing with it. They shouldn't just have suddenly these kaiju attacking that thing that the
big attack.
They were being attacked. It was basically a kaiju, a digital kaiju, and you had the jets that were firing at it. And the only thing we're missing were people going, ah! That's the only thing that we were missing. I mean, it was terrible. It's a very ill-conceived. I didn't know what was going on. I found it frustrating. There was no physics, no science,
no characters.
No game. There was no game in it.
I would genuinely
go ahead.
I was going to say, just from a like logistics point of view, I am baffled how those lasers were able to create something the size of the recognizer, which is clearly like 10 times the size of the building that it was built in.
And even Dillinger even says at one point, he says, "No, don't. It's too big." And then
they acknowledge it,
and it's fine.
Yeah, it's like, well, we're doing it anyway.
Yeah,
all right, sure. I guess
because even in the first one, when they realize that he has the master disc and he's going to take that whole. He's like, and somehow he's figured out a way to do it. That's just their explanation. That somehow Clue figured out a way to take a whole invading army and big ass ship. At this point, you just have to lie and say it's taking matter from quantum space and just move along.
You do.
Because
But like when you guys were making the point about character as well, like I don't identify with anyone in this movie because they don't have personalities, and I don't understand what anyone's motivation is. I don't understand even how they relate to each other because there's barely any connective tissue for any of it. Eve, I don't know who she is. I don't know anything about her, really. She's kind of sad that her sister died, I guess. That's about all I got with her.
Lesbian.
Sure.